Hey students, how are you guys? This is Module 2. This is going to be our second module for this first week of summer, the summer semester. And hopefully that first module you enjoyed it and you learned some stuff from how our Earth was formed and some basic introductory material. So this module, this next module is going to be regarding minerals and rocks and what minerals and rocks are. Okay, so as obviously you should have already clicked on the overview video, but we're going to be learning some basic chemistry and how rocks and minerals are related. Then for our objectives for this week, these are some of the main objectives. For minerals, we're going to start trying to predict how the periodic table works. So we need to understand some basic understanding of periodic table, what atoms are, how they're structured, how those atoms form minerals and therefore rocks on that time, how crystals are formed, differentiate between different classes of minerals, and be able to identify minerals and identify their basic physical characteristics. Then we're going to talk a little bit about rocks and describe the difference, how a rock is different than a mineral, and then also explain how we use these rocks into our daily lives. And last of all, we're going to talk about a little bit of mineral resources on how we use these things in our daily lives, how society has some challenges regarding minerals and in the mining of these minerals. Okay, and talking about sustainability, that means to use our minerals in a sustainable way, or a way in which we can have those minerals for later on in our lives. So it's a kind of recycling, talk about recycling, how we can do it without destroying the earth or contaminate it by polluting the earth and things like that. Okay, so those are some of the main objectives we're going to be doing for Module 2. Here's the reading. There's a brief glossary on this one. I'm just trying to give them the main terms that we're going to be talking about for this module. And then we're going to start going into Chapter 3. Now we're skipping Chapter 2. We're going to come back to Chapter 2 later. But we're going to go to Chapter 3 where we're going to talk about minerals and the nature of rock. And also I ask you to read a little bit in the mineral resources in 9 pages later on in one of the chapters, and also a quick mineral resources PDF. Okay, so those are your reading assignments. Then, as always, you have that link to the text, that temporary link until the first 5 chapters are done, first 5 modules, basically. Then you have a reading quiz. This is basically based off of your reading that you just have. It should be fairly straightforward, and it shouldn't take you terribly long. Then you have the lecture material. This is the material that I would have taught if I were in a face-to-face class. Or if we were in a face-to-face class in the summer, we would have spent 2 hours to actually do a face-to-face lecture on this material. And this is the material you have. These are set up in 15-minute intervals. A lot of these videos are from my last semester, from the spring semester. Sometimes I'll update these, sometimes I won't. It depends on my time. It also depends on how I change them a little bit. But most of the time, they're still good videos and will be adequate for what we're doing here. So just look at that. If you have questions about any of it, always just let me know, and then we'll go from there. You will do better if you actually watch these mini lectures. This is not as much time as you would be if you were face-to-face class. This is shortened. I go a little faster in these than I would in a face-to-face class. In a face-to-face class, I usually have interaction. We do interactive activities, things like that. It's harder to do that online, and so I try to do my best, making it as interactive as possible, but also to get you guys through it so you don't waste too much time on it. If you don't watch these, it would be almost like not going to class. And so do realize in your exams you're going to have questions from your lectures and from the quizzes and reading activities. So it's important that you read these. If you watch these, if you don't watch them, you're probably not going to be able to do as well on our exams when the time comes. Okay. Also, I always put some additional videos down at the bottom that might help you. Not necessary, but they can help you if you're not understanding the subject. Then last of all, you're going to do a Chapter 3 activity where you're going to go through SmartWorks to get that ready. If you have any questions, let me know, and then we'll go from there. But that's all it is for this week. It's this module. It's pretty straightforward, I hope. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. This is going to be your second module for the week. and it'll be the last module for this week. And we'll start up again next week talking about the different types of rocks. Okay? See you guys later. Hope you guys have a good week. Had a good week at least.